Today I will teach you all the history of Andorra. This is my fourth installment in my History of Every Country series, so if you want more, make sure to like and subscribe because I make one of these every other weekend, which that will probably get changed eventually, but I hope you enjoy. The land of Andorra was discovered in 9500 BC as a passing place between the Pyrenees, but that's too old for what I'm talking about. In the Roman ages, the land was influenced by Basque, Aquitanian, and Iberian languages, and the castle of the Roque d'Anclar is the oldest man-made thing in Andorra that is still here today. After the Roman Empire died, Andorra came under influence of the Visigoths, the Kingdom of Toledo, and the Diocese of Urgell. During the Visigoths, Christianity spread throughout Andorra, which you may think was from Rome, but Rome didn't spread Christianity through all of its territory. But Muslim invaders came through Iberia, which we know from the not Reconquista, just them doing their stuff, and the Franks saved Andorra from being a part of the Muslim conquest. Andorra was then a buffer state between the Muslims and the Franks slash the rest of Europe for a while. Two states swapped Andorra back and forth for a century, but was resolved in 1278, which is known as its Independence Day. The Kingdom of Aragon had annexed Andorra back a decent bit back, but the Kingdom of Aragon let Andorra get semi-independence, being run by an Andorran leader and the French head of state, which is still active today. Andorra la Vella, which is the capital, got renamed and turned to be the capital. The second oldest parliament in Europe was founded in 1419 in Andorra also. Andorra adopted the Catalan language, which is close to Spanish, but it's in Catalonia, as you can tell, and Andorra, and which is their official language that is still that way today. France and Spain got unified by France and Spain, and were and are the only two countries to border and landlock Andorra. Andorra was just kind of chilling like the Swiss were. They were just staying, lowering unrest, improving their economy, and vibing while Europe cuts each other's throats for centuries. But the War of Spanish Succession, Andorra supported Catalonia for obvious reasons. I didn't even know Catalonia was in the war, but they were. And after the French Revolution, Napoleon took over Catalonia and Andorra. But Napoleon was actually the one, well, for the French Empire, was the one that actually made the colors for the Andorran flag. In 1814, the French Empire died off, as we know, and Andorra got its independence back once again. In 1933, Andorra had a lot of social unrest from the Revolution of 1933, led by some Spanish people, to which France would occupy Andorra until the problems are done. And I don't normally name people, but Boris Skystref became the leader of Andorra, quote unquote leader, with his promise of freedoms and modernization of the country's wealth and more. But he had bad intentions and was arrested, and France kept a hold of Andorra throughout the Spanish Civil War, 1936 to 1940, and during the during the during World War II, Spanish and French refugees flew into the country and gave a big economic boost for Andorra, which also made the unrest go away, so France would leave Andorra back to its whatever it was doing. And also, France took away their head of state, being leader of Andorra. Also in World War II, Andorra was neutral, but was a smuggling route between Vichy France and fascist Spain. In the capital of Andorra, there was a lot of pro-Axis propaganda being spread, which eventually got fixed near the end of the war. Andorra, after World War II, became a capitalist economy, like most of Europe and most of the countries in the world. They even reinstated the French leader as a co-leader of Andorra and took on what's called the Andorran Dream, which is close to just being a carbon copy of the American Dream, but it's not exactly then. Since then, Andorra has just chilled and stayed neutral in everything. Andorra nowadays is the biggest micronation in Europe, being like 100 times bigger than the Vatican. Andorra is very mountainous, of course, because in the Pyrenees. And Andorra is honestly just a cool country to visit. I haven't visited. I'll probably end up in the future. But that is the end of Andorra.